So these are the ingredients you're going to need. 3 russet potatoes, an onion, and at your discretion how much onion you like. Me and my husband, we like quite a bit of onion, but do it to your liking. And you don't have to use as many potatoes if you don't want as well. But you need vegetable oil, 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, a tablespoon, depending if you don't have Fiesta seasoning in your pantry or in your market, that's completely fine. You can use other alternatives. So fajita seasoning, I would suggest, would be the replacement of these items here, including salt, which you don't see, and I have it right here, but in my little corn in the cob. So fajita seasoning is going to be a replacement of these, and if you're going to use fajita seasoning, you use it at your discretion. And you'll see me use it. I probably say I maybe use about 2 to 3 tablespoons, but try it out, put a little bit on there. If you don't think it's enough, add more. But if you don't have it, and that's okay, you can use garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and some salt. And of course, don't forget your vegetable oil. And this is just vegetable oil I've gotten at the 99-cent store. So I'm gonna go ahead, and the next step is I'm gonna wash, peel, and cut dices up into little cubes. And then I'm gonna slice the onions, and I'll show you next what we're gonna do after that. So today we are making my Bill Miller's copycat. This is what you refer to as our hash browns or potato and onions, whatever you want to call it. And so let's get right into it. So right now I have a cast iron skillet. The cast iron skillet is the best thing, I would say, to prevent that the potatoes sticking to the bottom of the pan, and you know what I mean. But I feel cast iron skillets are one of the best for making hash browns. So the first thing is get your cast iron pot hot. Right now I have mine on medium heat, and I'm going to add some oil so that while that's getting hot, we're going to go ahead and start cutting up the potatoes and onions. And yeah, that does seem like a lot of oil. I probably used maybe about 3 tablespoons of oil. Now use how much oil you want to use. Now this is going to be a recipe. You can be creative. You can make it on, just as the way I'm making it. But I'm going to show you the couple of things that you're going to want to do in the meantime besides getting your skillet hot and ready. Now I'm going to cut my potatoes up, and I'm going to move my skillet a little bit because it's too close to me. I don't want it to burn myself. But I'm going to cut the potatoes up. See, the thing that I typically do with potatoes, now to your discretion, I have, of course, some areas where I'm not completely peeling it off, and that's okay for me. As long as I wash these pretty good. I actually peel mine first. Dice it, or you can wash it now. You can wash it and then dice it up. But wash it, dry it, and then you can dice it up and then cook it that way. So let me just wash these really quick. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pat these dry with just a paper towel, and then I'm going to start dicing it up. I just find that if I wash my potatoes before I peel them, they're of course a little bit more slippery. And I've cut myself while I peeled potatoes, and if you've ever had that happen to you, you know exactly. It is not fun. So I got all my 3 potatoes washed, and let's go ahead and cut them. Now, I'm not a professional when it comes to this, so I'm sure I'm going to get some critics out there saying you're cutting it wrong, but and while I'm cutting these, I still have the heat going on my skillet. So I wish it could be just like all those other famous cooks and just cut these up in no time. Now I like sweet onions. I like sweet onions. I feel like it gives that nice, and it's a very light sweet, very light sweet. So I don't typically add these in right now. I will add them near the end stage of the cooking process, so we'll get to that next. So here's my onions. This has been heating up for probably about, I would say maybe a little over 5 minutes here. But I have my onions, and we'll go ahead and put them in there now. Just be careful because I already have some oil in there, and I put about 3 tablespoons of oil. So just be careful when you go ahead and place your potatoes in there. Sometimes I suggest, if you're hesitant and you have one of these, my mom got this from the Philippines, but if you have something where you can slowly, no, I'm just going to place some in here. You can place it in there. Or if you're brave, I'll leave that up to you, but you can just toss it in there. So the next thing is, I'm gonna let this start getting brown. Miko, I'm gonna start, that's my dog, sorry. I'm gonna let this start getting brown, and we're going to add some seasonings next. With a cast iron skillet, you want to use a wooden spoon. I find that you don't want to do a lot of scraping towards it, but wooden spoons are essential with the cast iron skillet. At least I feel. I did turn up the heat. I'll come back to you right when it's starting to brown. So I'm coming back a little bit early. I am going to just add a little bit of the fajita seasoning for now. I will probably add some more later. I'm just going to do it to taste. Now, I've been probably cooking this for about 5 minutes now, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. Now you can add as much onions as you want. It's completely discretionary on your taste. You don't have to add as much oil as I did. You don't have to cook as many potatoes as I did, but at least you have a concept of the idea. Now, I'm putting in my onions a little bit earlier, only because I'm finding I don't have I don't have any little bare spots on my pan, so it's going to take me a little bit longer to get my onions caramelized. We do like them a little toasty. So now I have my heat on medium to high. This is so I can really start getting it cooking quicker, and I do like the toastiness. I like mine brown, and that's the way Bill Miller's does it. They have, of course, you couldn't have hash browns that weren't toasty, right? I just like listening to the noise of it cooking. Now I have a Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven, and this is its lid. I'm just going to go ahead and place it right on top. And I'm still keeping the heat on medium to high. It's too hot. You're going to want to check on this frequently just to make sure there's no burning or adhering to the bottom of your cast iron pan, whatever pan you're using. You don't have to use a cast iron pan, but I just find that it's great for cooking potatoes. I'm going to put my Dutch oven lid back on. Because you can find yourself cooking it in a cast iron, and I find that if you don't use the right ratio of oil, or if you don't use something to cause humidity in the cast iron pan, your potatoes will just brown. That's nice, right? But it's just not going to cook inside. And you ever eaten a tough potato? I haven't. It's not pleasant. So I recommend, if you have something, a lid, and it doesn't have to be this this lid or what I'm utilizing. You can use whatever you have. Another thing I want to mention is, though I put it on there, I don't want to leave it on too long. So I probably have left it on there for about 7 minutes, checking it in between, because if I leave it continuously, leave it on there, if I continuously leave it on there, what it's going to do is it's going to become mushed or mashed potatoes. So you're going to want to, it starts becoming glossy, as you can tell slightly there, but it's starting to become glossy. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to leave that Dutch oven top off, or the lid off of it for now, and I'm just going to let the bottom
on fire.
Get brown. Sorry, that was my husband, my son. So I'm just going to let it get brown, and I will show you what it starts to look like here in a couple of minutes. I don't want to keep you here just continuously watching it, which I guess you could just watch it, but so you can see that I still have it on high heat. So it's starting to get brown. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see. It's starting to get brown. Yeah. Smell good? Oh.
These are so like weird.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know those arrows that I snapped that you see? Those are actually...
What I will say is that when you're cooking these potatoes, because I have the cast iron skillet on it, it is going to feel soft. So I probably shouldn't have left it on for so long. I don't feel like 7 minutes was that long, but, and I'm trying to keep what I'm doing at this point is I'm just turning them, flipping them, because I want to keep the shape of the potato, and as you can see, it's really getting brown there.
What you making?
Hash browns.
And eggs?
Mm-hmm.
Leave a minute out.
And what I'll show you is the final product once it's all done.